Hello, my name is Gareth. You're watching the Hub Online Network, and this is going to be your School District 74 recap from January 5th, 2021. I cannot believe it's already 2021. So anyway, the School Board Trustees from School District 74 met on January 5th, 2021 for their standard monthly meeting. Many items were presented and talked about during this meeting, and I'll get to the Ashcroft Elementary School parts in the latter half of this show, so if you're interested, you can skip ahead if you aren't watching me live. So, there was an in-depth presentation given by Secretary Treasurer Lynda Minnebarriet in regards to the renovations that took place in the now Lytton K-12 school. Unfortunately, the PowerPoint presentation is not accessible to me. However, it was really well done, so good job, Lynda. Here is an excerpt from the Ashcroft Cache Creek Journal from September to give a little bit of context about this particular project. So that says, where was I here? The renovation project to convert Kumsheen Secondary School, KSS, to Lytton to a K-12 school is well underway, with the work scheduled to be completed in December 2020, which it is according to the PowerPoint presentation yesterday. Students in grades K through 7 have returned to Lytton Elementary until the work is finished, at which time they will join the secondary students at the newly converted KSS, and Lytton Elementary will be closed. The new school will be the third largest K-12 facility and amalgamation in School District 74. In 2010, the Clinton Elementary was closed and students were moved to a converted David Stoddard Secondary. And in 2015, Ashcroft Elementary closed, with Ashcroft Secondary converting to Desert Sands Community School. So that was a big presentation, again, that happened yesterday in the board meeting, which, again, good job, Lynda. Thank you for presenting that to everyone. Moving on, the board reviewed the budget until 2024 and then passed the budget until 2024. The budget did show a fairly substantial surplus that spanned over many different areas due to many different varying factors. There were several new policy drafts that were written over the last couple of months as well. Some of the policies that were under review at this moment included Policy 1.170, which is the Trustees' Oath of Office, Policy 1.180, Trustees' Roles and Responsibilities, Policy 1.160, Truth and Reconciliation, Policy 2.40, Financial Planning and Management, and Policy 2.130, which is Meeting Expenses. The board does review and update these policies on an ongoing basis, and you can check out these drafts by looking at the agenda for this meeting, which you can find on the school board website. The co-chairs had an opportunity to appoint board representatives to the First People's Education Council. The trustees that were appointed were Carmen Ranta and Larry Casper, with Ora Storcom as the backup alternate. So those are sort of the bigger things that happened during this board meeting. There was also a bit where Carmen Ranta talked about the possible cannabis, or selling of cannabis in Cache Creek, and what that looks like for the school in that area. And we have the whole meeting up on our YouTube channel and our Facebook page if you'd like to go check the full meeting out. It is just over 2 hours long, so be prepared for a bit of a long video, but it is fairly interesting. Now we're going to discuss the starting of the disposal process part of this meeting, and this is in regards to the Ashcroft Elementary School, the now Ashcroft Hub. And if you would like to have your say on this, you, of course, can email me, honjournalist@ashcrofthub.com. And I will be doing tomorrow a sort of correspondence video. We've gotten a few emails already. The previous video from a couple days ago has gotten quite a bit of discussion happening around it. So I'm going to go over what those conversations are and what people are saying through these emails. So if you would like to email me and tell me what you're thinking about this topic, let me know, give me an email, and we would love to read that out. So, this meeting took place over Zoom. It was available to the public via Zoom. Now, this was an interesting version of Zoom that I had never seen before. where the trustees were on as panelists and the public wasn't able to be seen or heard unless the person running the meeting unmuted them. I'm not saying that this was a bad thing. I'm just saying that it's something that I've never seen before, and I thought it was pretty interesting. Now, in regards to the disposal of Ashcroft Elementary School, the actual motion on the floor was, over the past several years, the board has reviewed surplus properties no longer required for educational purposes and disposed of properties to allow funding and staffing to be focused on open schools. Since 2013, the board had disposed of 9 properties. The board had approved proceedings with a property disposal process for the former Ashcroft Elementary School, which includes hearing from local communities on the potential disposal. The building is currently leased to the Ashcroft Hub Society. It is recommended that the board meet with local Indigenous communities and municipalities and hold a public meeting to gather input on this topic. It is likely that the meetings would occur over or via Zoom. A process to allow for written feedback would be submitted, would also be available. The board would then consider the community input, then determining next steps in the disposal process. Approval of the Ministry of Education is required before the property can be disposed of or sold. With the recommendation, so that is the motion. And now the recommendation that is handed to the trustees is that the Board of Education approve proceeding with a community consultation process on the possible disposal of the former Ashcroft Elementary School. So that is the context as to what all of this is for and why they're doing it. Now that we know that, the meeting sort of started and ended with a question period. During these times, Vicki Trill, who has a conflict of interest as she is the executive director of the Ashcroft Hub and a school board trustee, she recused herself not from the question periods, but from the actual reading of the motion and the discussion. So she was there for the 2 question periods. In the first question period, Juanita, the chair of the Hub Society Board, spoke about all of the good things that the Hub has done since it started, and she reminded the trustees that the Hub is currently in the middle of a 9-year lease with the school district. She also asked that this motion be tabled until things are in more certain times, meaning when COVID is done. Trish from the South Caribou Elizabeth Fry Society thanked the Hub for stepping up when COVID started and helped to create the local area helpline and stepped up when the food bank needed space to store food over the last several months. TNRD citizen Gloria spoke to what does disposal actually mean in this instance, and to keep in mind that as the inland port expands and provides the possibility to bring in new families, there is the possibility of an influx of children. If the board does choose to move ahead, they lose the backup building to have more students in the area. Now, to my understanding, the school, Desert Sands Community School, is currently at 2/3 capacity. So they still have quite a bit of students that they would need to fill that void. But Gloria brings up a valid point. So when the main discussion happened, Trustee Trill recused herself. Trustee Ranta then quickly put the motion on the floor for discussion and was also the first to say that she wanted the beginning of the disposal process to take place, the first step being the public consultation. Ora Storcom, I have it written down, I don't know why it keeps changing the spelling on me. Ora Storcom was the only trustee member that did not show outright support for this motion. Many other trustees did mention that there had been an influx of letters showing support for the Hub and that they look forward to many more. Once the motion had passed, there seemed to be confusion from the trustees about what this motion meant, and each trustee had a different idea about that. Trustee Aljam spoke about just straight out selling right away. Trustee Casper stated that there are many different ways to dispose of district facilities. Trustee Storcom asked several times about time frames and how this motion actually starts. Trustee Ranta just seemed to want the proceedings to start, and Chair Rempel on more than one occasion had to remind the other trustees about what this motion actually means. There were talks about the facility still costing the school district $25,000 a year for maintenance and groundkeeping fees, and since the school district was not benefiting directly from the Hub, it is a good time to look at this process. As a reminder, the term disposal does not refer to demolition of the property, it refers to the selling or leasing of the property. There are many different options for this, and the process does start with a community discussion. Ultimately, the motion to start the proceedings passed. We couldn't see anyone else's hands during the vote other than Chair Rumpel's. The last question period had Juanita back. She spoke about the impact that the hub had on just the children population alone, being a place that school kids want to go to work out, use for dance, art programs, summer programs, and much more. So if there is a belief that the children of the community do not benefit, then there is a miscommunication. Juanita also stated that the hub will be keeping going as long as we are able. At this time, Trustee Rempel stated that the hub is not being shut down tomorrow and that people should not panic yet. The meeting was just over 2 hours long. The trustees did say that more letters of support for the hub are welcome, so please send them in. And their emails are going to be added into the description of this video. So you can email everyone directly if you are so inclined to share your opinion and give your success story about the hub or your support. Now, since yesterday, there has been a news release put out by the school as of today, which states, so the headline is Former Ashcroft Elementary School Consultation Process. The Gold Trail Board of Education held an open board meeting on Tuesday, January 5th, 2021. At the meeting, the board approved proceeding with a community consultation process on the possible disposal of the former Ashcroft Elementary School property. The board recognizes that the process will need to occur differently during the pandemic and is looking forward to hearing from the public about the property use. The board also acknowledged the existing lease with the Ashcroft Hub Society, which remains in place with the hub continuing in support and provide community services. Further information on the public consultation process will be distributed at the end of the week, and this is dated January 6th, 2021. I want to try and keep these videos a little bit shorter, so I'm going to stop it here. However, we will be doing again that other video on correspondence, emails, how the larger conversation is happening as a whole. But we hope that you enjoyed this recap. Let us know how we did. You can email, comment, etc., and because we always want to do things better for you. So please subscribe, tell your friends about us, let us know what you think about this recap and what you think about overall what's going on with the school district, and we will see you guys maybe a little bit later on today.